Hey everybody, it's me again. Today we'll be talking to you about diplomacy and the spoken word. So Consortium 1 had a lot of dialogue. You were stuck on a plane with a crew of 16, plus a whole bunch of people you were talking to off plane, interacting with. There's a lot of spoken dialogue. This book right here, right? It's 430-page interactive screenplay, chock full of dialogue. So one of our priorities with the first game is to create a system that allowed for very seamless dialogue. You weren't constantly going into dialogue mode and having to, out comes a mouse cursor, you got to click on things, and you're stuck facing a character and you see this sort of monotone, repeating animation going on. You know, we worked really hard to try our best with our small team to bring people alive and have them have facial expressions that match what they're saying. But I digress. The point is, we put a lot of work into dialogue with the first game. So one of the more natural things we'd want to take to the next level for the Tower of Prophecy is the dialogue system. And the way we go about doing that is essentially when you're playing the Tower of Prophecy, you'll be able to speak out loud anytime and anywhere. Like not yell, but speak, say things. You'll be able to say, I'm a Consortium bishop, does anyone need my assistance? And then you might get people that are hidden away, that are hiding from the bad guys that need you that want to be rescued. You can come to their rescue. Or you can simply say, I'm a Consortium bishop, surrender immediately. If you know there are guards nearby, you yell, they'll hear you, and maybe they'll just get scared and immediately surrender. Or maybe they'll run out and attack you. I mean, it depends on what situation you're dealing with. But the point is, as a verb, you'll be able to actually speak out loud. And by a verb, I mean most games have a player verb is things like shooting. Shooting is a common verb, especially in first-person games, right? You can shoot stuff to have things happen. Shoot the support that causes things to crumble down and open up a way to continue. Or, you know, even better, shoot the button to open the door. That's a common verb in games. Now, we're interested in having talking be every bit as ubiquitous and useful as shooting has been in the past. So you can use dialogue and conversation to get through the game. You can literally talk your way through the entire game, like the first game. This may sound incredulous to you, but it really is a natural extension of what we already did with Consortium. So that's one of the things that we're excited about bringing to you guys. And to get a bit lower level, in order to handle the amount of conversations and dialogue we do anticipate potentially allowing you to have in the Tower of Prophecy, we have invented a new system called the Conversation Manager. So in the first game, you just get CMC conversations thrust upon you. And these are sort of disembodied conversations with a device. And you'd often have no choice. You could just say nothing and then the conversation would go away and you'd never have a chance to bring it up again. So the conversation system, the Conversation Manager, as you're seeing here, allows us, and this is just a mock-up, this is not final art, but this showcases and tells you how you're able to manage incoming conversations. So any potential characters in the world you meet, the conversation officers or otherwise, you'll potentially be able to engage in conversations with them via your CMC, you know, so like a radio. And you'll get incoming requests often, say, you know, that people want to talk to you, and you can decide to either open a conversation right there and then, or if you're in the middle of doing something else, if you're in the middle of a potential combat situation, you just get a notification saying new conversation available, and at some point later when you want to take a break, you can sort of bring up your manager and engage a conversation. So it's up to you, we're putting the control of conversations in your hands. You want to talk a lot, engage a lot with all the characters you're able to, you can. If you really want to be more of a quiet bishop and not say much, you also can. So it's giving you more power, more freedom, and of course for us it makes the game easier to make because we don't have to worry about conversations interrupting important moments. So there's a system, the system will allow for a lot more interesting events to happen and have it all be controlled and have it not be annoying for players. So the other key mechanic that we're going to highlight here today that directly relates to diplomacy and the spoken word is the agitation meter. So you saw in the initial pitch when I'm walking up and chatting to the guards how you see a number above his left shoulder. You might not have noticed it, but it's there, and if you know what to look for, now you'll start to see it. Anytime you're interacting with a guard in a not just a guard, but anytime you're interacting with anybody that's a potential combatant in a non-threatening manner, in other words, not shooting at them, you have a very good chance of being able to start a conversation with them. Now, how that works is that basically every group of mercs, guards, combatants out there are organized into squads, and there are squad leaders. The squad leaders, each and every one of them, has a fully fleshed out personality, backstory, and whatnot, and general affinity towards you as a bishop. And this gets even deeper into what kind of bishop you are. We'll talk about that more later. But essentially, they're able to engage in conversation with you. Now, this only depends upon their agitation meter. So the agitation meter is very simple. It's a number from 0 to 10. 0 being they're chilling out, they're having a good time, they're relaxed, they're happy, they're not even remotely worried. 10 means they're murderously angry, and they will attack immediately upon seeing you. So there's obviously a spectrum there. So they exist. So every squad leader, and by definition the entire squad, basically the entire squad inherits the A value of the squad leader. So they all have a certain number to start with, and you were able to interact with this. You know what the number is from far away. You can decide whether to try to engage in diplomacy. If someone's number is 7, that means they're pretty close. They may just open fire. It's very only a small chance that they'll be even willing to talk to you, especially if you have your gun out. If you put your gun down, disarm, then the chance of them losing as soon as they see you, in other words, not in a non-threatening manner, and that you're just standing there, there's a chance you can engage in conversation and try to talk them down. Now, it goes deeper into that. We have a whole bunch of stuff worked out for the kind of conversations you're going to be able to have with the combatants. You can bribe them, you can trick them, get them to surrender, get them to even give you information, get them to show you places, get you to open up areas you otherwise wouldn't be able to open up. There's a whole array of interesting things that interacting and talking and communicating with the otherwise would-be antagonists can get you further in the game often than simply just blasting them all to death. But you can do that if you want to, and the consequences will be realistic and fun and interesting, and you can also incapacitate them. The point is that this is part of a bit of a sandbox environment that we're interested in creating in the game itself, and that you can walk around and you'll never know. Every time you start the game, the alignment values for all the squads will change up. So every time you start a new game, you'll never quite know if the guy that really hates the Consortium is on the roof, and then as soon as he sees you, he'll open fire and you get in this big fight, and there's no way you can talk to him, so you'll want to avoid him if you want to avoid combat, or not, or who knows where he'll be. So it changes up the experience even more. It opens up more replayability for the game.